The Porsche 911 is an iconic car, no one can dispute that. But the 992 Carrera starts at £97,000. That's with no options, no nothing. That's crazy. So I was wondering, are there any like baby supercars you can get for under £100,000 that would literally cost less than a 911? The answer is yes. I'm gonna give you 5 exotic cars, maybe even baby supercars in some cases, that all cost less than a brand new 911. Do hit like and subscribe if you're new, but without further ado, let's get straight into it. I once spoke to a serial exotic car owner about which car he had the best experience owning, and he said it was this, the Aston Martin Vantage AMR, a limited edition Aston with just 300 built in total. He said it was because in basically any Aston you get much more love and respect than you do with many other exotics. Now I can't confirm or deny what he said as I've not driven the Vantage, but what I can tell you is that the AMR comes with a 4.7 litre V8 producing 430 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Now it isn't quite a supercar, but it's definitely along those lines, especially with its stunning looks and how limited it is. And for me, Aston Martin is probably as close as we have in the UK to a British Ferrari with how iconic the brand is. Adding on the AMR badge to me now also has a bit more value with the recent performance of the F1 team, getting so much better for the 2023 season. It means Aston Martin racing really does have some weight to it, although of course it was already pretty good outside of F1 in sports car racing. The one thing I'd say about getting an AMR is that there isn't a huge difference between it and the standard Vantage except the price tag and some of the typical AMR design features on the interior with the light green. £72,000 will get you into one of these, and you won't need to spend our full 100k price tag of the 911 to get a 2018 model with low mileage. These are actually known to be quite reliable, especially as they came out at the end of the car's run, but clutches are a known weak point which can be an expensive fix. Taking fourth on this list, we have a car that you'd probably choose if, like me, you love driving fast on track. It's the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4, which managed a Nürburgring lap time of 7 minutes 28 seconds, matching the hallowed Carrera GT and faster than cars like the Nissan GT-R, the Audi R8 V10 Plus, and most importantly, the Porsche 911 992 Carrera S. That's amazing when you consider that these start at around £75,000 with 100 grand getting you a 2023 model with very low mileage. And for that money, you'll get a 4 litre flat 6 engine producing 414 brake horsepower, which will get you to 60 in 4.3 seconds, not bad at all for a track car. The GT4 RS recently came out, and yes, it looks absolutely stunning and goes around the Nürburgring 25 seconds faster, but it also costs an insane amount of money, where the 70k GT4 still offers you much of that track capability and of course still an exotic overall ownership experience. It looks way more aggressive than the standard Cayman, and that engine is actually derived from the one in the Porsche 911 992. It also has a bunch of parts borrowed from the 911 GT3 like the front suspension and brakes, plus it comes in PDK for the first time as opposed to manual only in the 981 GT4. My personal favourite thing about the GT4, the spec options. Genuinely, if you're after one, they came in some stunning colourways with loads of optionality on the interior and exterior, so do look for the right spec for you. The engine is known to be quite reliable, which is good, but as it's a GT product from Porsche, repairs do reflect the prestige of the badge, as in they're quite expensive. Taking third, we have the Lotus Emira, the newest car on this list, which hasn't really depreciated much because of how new it is. However, it is available already for around £75,000, which is 2k below base list price, with the most expensive model sitting at just over 90k with effectively no miles on the clock. You've got 2 engine options, but personally I'd have to go for the Toyota 3.5 litre supercharged V6 engine using 400 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 4.2 seconds. What's terrifying is that the Emira is supposed to be Lotus's final ever combustion engined car, after many years of Lotus successfully upping their reliability reputation by consistently using Toyota blocks, enough that they can now also offer the engine out of the Mercedes A45 in this car as well. What do you think about that? I think in many cases brand souls are in their engines. Ferrari is an engine company, BMWs have inline 6s, Audis have inline 5s, etc. But Lotus has never really been personified by its engines, but rather by that old line. Simplify, then add lightness. Now electric cars aren't particularly light right now, but that's not to say that they can't be in future. And Lotus may use other forms of renewable energy anyway, but despite being a lifelong Lotus fan, I weirdly don't think the engine is really what they're about. They just need to be fast on track, which is kind of why I'm in two minds about the Emira. It looks amazing, properly good looking, but it also doesn't look much like a Lotus track car. It's more a successor to the Evora than it is to the Elise or Exige. This appeals to a wider audience, which is great for the brand, but I would have an Exige over one every day of the week, at least for now. So I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, then do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new. You're watching this whilst I am literally on my honeymoon, which is crazy to think about. And let me know in the comments down below, would you rather have one of these 5 cars or a brand new Porsche 911? I'd be more than interested to hear. And I don't mean like a 911 Turbo or Turbo S, I mean like a Carrera, the base 911. Taking second, we have all in, I think, my favourite car on the list, the Mercedes-AMG GTC, which is, in my opinion, the most stunning version of the AMG GT line of cars. I particularly like it in convertible spec for some reason, which isn't my norm, but either way you're getting a 4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 engine, producing 549 brake horsepower, the most on this list, taking it to 60 in 3.6 seconds, pretty rapid. It's actually a step down, of course, from the AMG GTR, but I think in reality it is more of a step across to a different use case. You don't buy a GTC to go fast on track, you buy it because it looks incredible with an insane level of road presence. It is supposed to be a performance-oriented version of the AMG GT, and over that standard car it gets the mechanical modifications of the GTS, but then with the wider body, active rear steering, and in general more aggressive looks. Given its performance focus, I think if you wanted a car to take on a grand tour around Europe with a quick stop off at the Nürburgring or another track at some point, the coupe GTC might have to be the perfect choice. If you're willing to forgo the track, the convertible in my opinion is the one to have. To get one of these you'll need to spend around £80,000 at the bottom end, making it the most expensive car on the list, with £100,000 getting you a 2019 model with 10,000 miles on the clock. Owners have professed to these being very reliable so far, but one problem has been that where issues have arisen, service from Mercedes hasn't always been perfect, which is important to consider when buying an exotic. Taking the top spot, we have the McLaren 540C, a proper little baby supercar which comes with a 3.8-litre twin-turbocharged V8 engine, putting out 532 brake horsepower with a 0 to 60 time of 3.3 seconds. It actually sits on the McLaren 570S platform, which is the baby McLaren in and of itself, and the 540C is the most baby of them all, being the entry level of the entire brand. The focus was on it being a dailyable sports car with good practicality and drivability, hence it has more comfort-focused suspension with better overall ride quality. It's clearly no slouch though, and it provided decent value for money when new, being cheaper than the 570S to entice a wider market into buying a McLaren. Despite it being a cheaper entry point, reviews have still kindly named it a supercar, which is cool. It does lack a few bits like no carbon ceramic brakes and fewer carbon fibre body panels, but it still retains the 570S looks. The only real complaints have been about it not sounding quite as aggressive as some other cars, which is a result of that V8 not singing in the higher revs so much, but all in, it definitely looks and feels like a supercar, particularly on the interior. I've always thought the McLaren makes some of the most inspiring looking interiors, even if some people have questioned the build quality in certain circumstances. These list for a minimum of around £75,000 with 100 grand get you a 2018 model with 20,000 miles on it. They are known to be reliable enough mechanically, but McLaren have garnered a bad reputation for electrical issues and poor service. This has definitely impacted the brand pretty negatively over the past few years and has added to the depreciation of these otherwise stunning cars. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then do hit the like button and subscribe as well if you're new here. Massive thanks for watching, and to the patrons as well for their support. And if you want to see another video on some exotic cars that cost less than 100 grand, same as this price range, then click up here and subscribe down here.